Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to our MMG Weekly Recap. So our system at Mortgage Market Guide is to blend or monitor the geo uh, politics, the macroeconomic picture, Fed activity, all the economic reports called the fundamentals. And on the other side are the technicals. And right now, as mortgage professionals, we're out looking for a rate peak and an inflation peak and when the Fed might pull back on some of this hawkish rhetoric. There's a trend in place right now that I think could help um, many mortgage folks in discussions as it relates to long-term locks, new construction deals that are further out that maybe you can't lock today. Right? Obviously, there's a fear of much higher rates. You're hearing about all over the place how rates are going to go higher, and when you hear all that talk, it's almost contrarian, right? There was a New York Fed survey recently where they surveyed renters, and renters believed in 3 years mortgage rates would be over 8%, like 8.25%. We don't think that's going to happen. We think almost the opposite is probably true. Why? Because we simply can't afford it. But then, besides just the emotion of that and the economic reports, there's a technical picture happening in the 10-year note now that has existed for 40 years. And it's a trend that we could say continues to be our friend. So follow along. Over the last 40 years, every time the Fed hiked rates, the 10-year note peak in that cycle never went above the previous peak. And that exists still today. Back in 2018, we had a peak when the Fed was hiking rates of 3.25. The bond market, the 10-year note said, okay, that's enough. You're hiking too much. And then the 10-year note went lower. And then the Fed unwound everything they did. This cycle, we went up to 321 just earlier this week, and we backed off around 288 or so. So we're not saying that this is the peak. We're not going to know until it's in the rearview mirror, but we didn't break this trend. And as a mortgage professional, you're looking for a place for rate relief or something to have discussions. There's a lot of volatility, but I would certainly hang my hat on that trend that's 40 years long. And believe me, everybody that's trading in the bond market is seeing the same thing too. So I hope this finds you well. Next week, we have retail sales, a bunch of housing figures. Let's see how that goes and have yourself a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.